From the janitor's room to the office of managing director of one of the largest Silicon Valley investment firms, David Liu has done it all, and now he has written a book. David, how you doing? Good to see you.
Pretty good. Hey, great to see you too.
All right. The name of the book is quite long, but I like to call it The Way of the Wall Street Warrior. But then there's other things that you've added to it.
Yeah, I added the subtitle, Conquer the Corporate Game Using Tips, Tricks, and Smart Cuts, because I cover all these different tactics on how to crack through the executive suite.
It is a game, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think, frankly, what I've learned in my 30-year career is that it's not only a game, but the rules are really fluid and they change a lot as you progress up the corporate ladder. And I found that that's frankly one of the reasons why people get really frustrated with their career, because what gets you in the door isn't necessarily what gets you up to the top. And I like to use analogies, and I liken it to to get in the game, you can be a great checkers player, but to get to the top, you have to be a grandmaster in chess. So you really need to think through, how do I adapt to the corporate environment as well as the different levels within an organization to get to the top. And so I try to teach a little of that in my book around like how you think about the game and how you develop skills that apply at every level of the game.
What I like about the structure of your book is that the subject matter is treated very directly. You get right to the point. There's no, a lot of flowery stuff here. These are actual tools you can use in your life and your career. And then at the end, you give us what you just told us. So you tell us what you're going to tell us, you tell us, and then you give us tools to use moving forward. Tell me that thought process. Why did you do it that way?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to two of the top business schools in the world, and they teach management, they teach leadership, as well as having gone through many different HR trainings in my 30-year career. And one of the things that really, frankly, frustrated me was that a lot of what is taught out there is high on theory and not really high on practice. So what I wanted to do is really provide a toolkit of practical advice. And I also believe that it's really, really hard, if near impossible, for anyone to walk in another person's shoes. Mm-hmm. And so the way I had decided to outline my advice was really to describe it from three dimensions, which is, one, I'll tell you what I did in my career. How do I try to make an impact when I join a meeting? How do I negotiate my compensation? How do I build alliances within a company? How do I get promoted? Mm-hmm. And I walk through that, as you have read in my book, in pretty gory detail. I go through it very tactically, what did I do in all those different situations. Then I try to validate some of what I used with interviews of other very successful people, people that have really cracked through and risen to very senior levels, to just get a third-party test on, okay, so this is how I did it, how did they do it? And then last but not least, I validate it with a little bit of science, because I know there's going to be some people out there who go like, oh, I don't understand why that could work. And I've been a big believer in behavioral economics and cognitive bias, these areas that are studies of the human mind and how human psychology works. And I do believe that a lot of my career success is rooted in understanding how people think and how people act. Overall, what my goal was to provide a very practical guide for people that are trying to figure out how to navigate their career. And it was really started by my desire to write down all the tactics that worked for me for my two boys, because I know that having gone through decades of training, decades of schooling, that a lot of what I did, you can't learn anywhere. And so that was really the impetus for why I wrote what I wrote, and the reason why I wrote it the way I did write it.
Your book is already so well regarded that it's at the top of Amazon's business. Tell me about the recognition that your book has already received.
I've been going around and telling people a little about the story, particularly the younger generation, so people in their 20s and 30s that are kind of early to mid-career. And what I'm finding is that the message that I am communicating is really resonating with them. I think a lot of them are seeing, when they look around, they see that the job market and the corporate environment is kind of rigged. And I ask a very simple question, actually, for people that are skeptical, because there's a lot of people that I think view the corporate world as somewhat fair and somewhat egalitarian. Believe it or not, Carlos.
Really?
And so
Not in my world.
I know. Well, I think that's where theory smashes into reality.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I ask at several of the keynotes I've been giving is, how many of you work at a company where you have a boss or you have other people that work with you that you scratch your head and you wonder, how does this person have this job? How is this person my boss?
Yeah.
And every hand goes up, right? And so I think that validates, in my view, and I think for a lot of younger generation, the fact that the game isn't at all like school. It isn't at all a meritocracy. And if I'm really going to get ahead in life, I've got to figure out how this game is played.
Well, you're getting the inside look from David Liu, the author of The Way of the Wall Street Warrior. David, thanks so much and congratulations on the success of your book already. I look forward to many great things from you, and I appreciate those tips. Even at my age, I can use some of that help.
Thanks, Carlos. Take care.